Welcome to the series of Bhagavad Gita chapters. Chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita, titled Kshetra Kshetragna Vibhaga Yoga, or the Yoga of the Field and the Knower of the Field, is a profound discourse where Lord Krishna imparts deep philosophical insights to Arjuna. This chapter primarily focuses on the distinction between the physical body, Kshetra, and the eternal soul, Kshetragna, elucidating the nature of knowledge, the field of activity, and the path to spiritual realization. At the outset, Krishna explains that both the physical body and the conscious self within it are distinct. The body, composed of the 5 elements and subject to change and decay, is the field, Kshetra. In contrast, the eternal soul, Atma, which is immutable and beyond material qualities, is the knower of the field, Kshetragna. This fundamental distinction sets the stage for understanding the nature of existence and the journey towards self-realization. Krishna describes the qualities of the field, Kshetra, encompassing the physical body, the senses, the mind, and intellect, as well as various psychological states and experiences. He emphasizes that true wisdom involves discerning the eternal soul, Kshetragna, as distinct from the transient aspects of the material world. This knowledge is crucial for attaining liberation, moksha, from the cycle of birth and death, samsara. The chapter delves into the characteristics of a true seeker of knowledge, jnana. A genuine seeker, Krishna explains, is one who perceives the imperishable soul within all beings, remains undisturbed by pleasure and pain, treats everyone with equanimity, and sees the same divinity pervading everywhere. Such a seeker transcends egoism, material attachments, and the duality of the physical world, focusing instead on spiritual growth and self-realization. Krishna elucidates that true knowledge arises from humility, a desire for learning, and the guidance of a spiritual teacher, guru. He outlines the qualities of wisdom, including non-violence, truthfulness, absence of anger, renunciation, tranquility, compassion, and absence of covetousness. These virtues foster a balanced and harmonious life, conducive to spiritual evolution and inner peace. Verse 1. Arjuna addresses Krishna as O son of Kunti, acknowledging Krishna's lineage from Queen Kunti. Arjuna refers to the physical body as the field, Kshetra, metaphorically representing the domain where actions and experiences take place. He seeks knowledge about the distinction between the body and the conscious self within it, asking Krishna to explain this concept. Arjuna acknowledges that those who possess true insight understand the body as the field, and those who comprehend the body are known as the knowers of the field, Kshetragna. This verse serves as an introduction to the chapter's theme, setting the stage for Krishna to elucidate the deeper philosophical concepts regarding the nature of the physical body, the eternal soul, and the path to spiritual enlightenment. Verse 2. Krishna responds to Arjuna's query by explaining that the field, Kshetra, encompasses the physical body, senses, mind, and intellect, along with various psychological states and experiences. He identifies himself as the knower of the field, Kshetragna, within all bodies, indicating that true knowledge involves understanding the distinction between the perishable body and the eternal soul. This verse sets the stage for Krishna to delve deeper into the nature of the field and the knower of the field, elucidating the path to spiritual realization and the essence of self-awareness. Verse 3. Krishna begins his response to Arjuna's question by defining the field, Kshetra, as consisting of the physical body, the senses, the mind, and the intellect. He explains that understanding this field, along with its modifications and transformations, constitutes knowledge, jnana. Krishna then introduces himself as the knower of the field, Kshetragna, emphasizing that true knowledge involves recognizing the distinction between the material body and the eternal soul. This verse lays the foundation for Krishna's teachings on the nature of the self and the path to spiritual realization. Verse 4. Krishna continues his explanation to Arjuna, revealing himself as the knower of the field, Kshetragna, present in all bodies, kshetras. He instructs Arjuna to perceive him not only as the consciousness within his own body, but as the universal consciousness pervading all beings. Krishna emphasizes that true knowledge, jnana, entails understanding both the physical body, kshetra, and the eternal soul, kshetrajna, that dwells within it. This verse underscores the importance of recognizing the spiritual essence within all living beings and understanding the distinction between the transient material form and the everlasting soul. Krishna asserts that comprehending this dual aspect of existence constitutes genuine wisdom, aligning oneself with the deeper truths of the spiritual path elucidated throughout the Gita. Verse 5. Krishna elaborates on the nature of true knowledge, jnana. He explains that true wisdom involves understanding the difference between the physical body, kshetra, and the conscious entity within, kshetrajna. This understanding is considered genuine knowledge by Krishna. He emphasizes that a person who comprehends this distinction and the relationship between the field and its knower is truly self-realized and endowed with a profound understanding of spiritual truth. Such an individual is described as having attained the yoga of knowledge at jnana yoga, where their consciousness is aligned with the awareness of the field and its knower. This verse underscores the importance of discerning the eternal soul amidst the transient material body as a path to spiritual realization. Verse 6. Krishna provides a comprehensive overview of the field, kshetra, which encompasses both the physical body and the psychological aspects of human existence. He categorizes these components into 7 main groups. First, he identifies the great elements, mahabhutas, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, that form the foundational basis of the material body and the external environment. Krishna then includes egoism, ahankara, representing the identification with the physical body, and the ego's attachment to identity and possessions. He proceeds with intellect, buddhi, the faculty responsible for discernment, decision-making, and understanding. Additionally, Krishna mentions unmanifested nature, avyakta, the subtle potentiality from which all material manifestations arise. He further outlines the senses, indriyani, encompassing 10 in total, 5 cognitive senses for perception, and 5 active senses for action. Lastly, he refers to mind and sense objects, dashikam, highlighting the mind's role in integrating sensory experiences and processing thoughts, along with the 5 sense objects perceived by the senses: sound, touch, form, taste, smell. This detailed categorization underscores the intricate nature of the field, kshetra, and provides a foundational understanding of the relationship between the perishable body and the eternal soul, kshetrajna, central to the Bhagavad Gita's teachings. Verse 7. Krishna teaches Arjuna that the root cause of delusion, moha for all beings, is the emergence of desires, ichcha, and aversions, dvesha, stemming from the illusion of dualities, dvandva. These dualities, such as pleasure and pain, success and failure, create attachment and repulsion, leading individuals astray from their true spiritual essence. Krishna advises Arjuna to recognize these dualities as illusions that obscure the path to spiritual realization. By transcending these attachments and aversions, one can attain clarity and liberation from the cycles of birth and death, as expounded in subsequent teachings of the Gita. Verse 8. Krishna emphasizes that genuine wisdom entails understanding the distinction between the field, kshetra, which is the physical body and its attributes, and the knower of the field, kshetrajna, which is the conscious entity within. He asserts that comprehending the qualities and essence of both is crucial. This understanding, according to Krishna, represents true knowledge, jnana, which is pivotal for spiritual advancement and self-realization. It guides individuals towards recognizing their eternal essence beyond the transient aspects of the physical body. Verse 9. This verse highlights the significance of understanding the distinction between the physical body, kshetra, and the conscious knower of the body, kshetrajna. Krishna explains that true knowledge, jnana, involves recognizing the eternal soul, atmaya, as distinct from the temporary material body. He emphasizes that this understanding leads to spiritual liberation, enabling one to transcend the cycles of birth and death. By discerning the imperishable nature of the soul and its relationship with the perishable body, individuals can attain profound wisdom and liberation from the illusions of the material world, aligning themselves with their true spiritual essence. Verse 10. Krishna explains that those who understand the field, Kshetra, and the knower of the field, Kshetrajna, with clarity and wisdom, attain liberation, moksha, from the cycle of birth and death. He emphasizes that this knowledge is not merely intellectual but experiential, rooted in a deep understanding of the eternal soul, Atmaya, as distinct from the transient body. By cultivating this profound insight, individuals can free themselves from worldly attachments and attain spiritual freedom, ultimately merging with the divine consciousness. Verse 11. Krishna explains that the soul is beyond birth and death, unchanging amidst the transformations of the physical body. He illustrates how the soul witnesses and experiences the joys and sorrows, successes and failures of life, yet remains untouched and unaffected by them. This verse underscores the indestructible essence of the soul, its resilience against temporal changes, and its role as the eternal observer within every living being. Understanding this eternal aspect of the self is crucial for spiritual wisdom and liberation from worldly entanglements. Verse 12. Krishna explains that the soul is transcendental, beyond the physical body and its limitations. He illustrates how the soul is the essence that animates and supports life, akin to the air that fills and sustains a vessel. This verse emphasizes the pervasive nature of the soul, which transcends individual identities and boundaries, connecting all living beings in a unified consciousness. Recognizing the soul's omnipresence leads to a deeper understanding of spiritual unity and the interconnectedness of all life forms. Verse 13. This verse emphasizes the distinction between the body, Kshetra, and the knower of the body, Kshetrajna. Krishna explains that understanding this difference, along with their respective qualities, constitutes true knowledge, jnana. This knowledge leads to liberation, moksha, from the cycle of birth and death. By recognizing the eternal soul, Atmaya, as distinct from the perishable body, one gains spiritual insight and transcends worldly attachments. This verse underscores the importance of discerning the immutable essence of the self amidst the transient aspects of material existence, guiding towards spiritual realization and ultimate freedom. Verse 14. Krishna emphasizes that the body is called the field, Kshetra, and the one who knows it is called the knower of the field, Kshetrajna. Krishna explains that true knowledge involves understanding this distinction and its implications. By recognizing the soul as distinct from the physical body and understanding its nature, one gains wisdom that leads to liberation. This verse underscores the importance of spiritual discernment and self-realization in achieving freedom from material entanglements. Verse 15. Krishna describes the qualities of a wise person who has attained true knowledge. Such a person remains impartial and unaffected by dualities like pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor. They are content in all circumstances, steadfast in their meditation, and self-restrained. Krishna highlights that maintaining equanimity and inner stability amidst life's fluctuations is a sign of spiritual maturity. This verse underscores the importance of cultivating inner peace and detachment as keys to spiritual growth and realization. Verse 16. Krishna describes the qualities of a wise person who is free from egoism, possessiveness, and vanity. Such a person remains unperturbed by joy and sorrow, success and failure, and maintains a balanced mind in all situations. This verse emphasizes the importance of cultivating humility, detachment, and equanimity as essential virtues for spiritual evolution. Verse 17. Krishna continues by describing the qualities of a wise person who is unselfish, free from envy and jealousy, and possesses a serene mind. Such a person remains undisturbed by the dualities of life, experiencing neither elation nor depression, and remain steadfast in their spiritual path. This verse highlights the importance of cultivating a tranquil and impartial mind for spiritual advancement. Verse 18. Krishna explains the characteristics of a wise person who is free from attachment, possessiveness, and egoism. Such an individual remains unaffected by favorable or unfavorable situations, treating everyone with equanimity and remaining balanced in happiness and distress. This verse underscores the significance of transcending material attachments and maintaining a steady, unbiased outlook towards life. Verse 19. Krishna describes the qualities of a wise person who remains the same towards friends and foes, honor and dishonor, heat and cold, and pleasure and pain. Such a person is free from attachment and aversion, treating everyone equally without being swayed by external circumstances. This verse emphasizes the importance of cultivating inner stability and impartiality in all situations. Verse 20. Krishna outlines the qualities of a wise person who remains content with whatever comes naturally without craving or rejecting anything. Such a person is free from egoism and possessiveness, maintaining a steady mind focused on devotion and spiritual practice. This verse highlights the importance of practicing detachment, humility, and contentment as pathways to spiritual realization and inner peace. Verse 21. Krishna emphasizes the nature of the soul, Atmaya, as eternal and omnipresent. Krishna describes the soul as imperishable, unchanging amidst the changes of the material world. He explains that the soul is beyond the limitations of the physical body and senses, unaffected by birth, growth, decay, or death. This verse underscores the eternal nature of the soul and its transcendence over the transient aspects of existence, highlighting its role as the enduring essence within every living being. Verse 22. Krishna describes the soul, Atma, as the witness and overseer within the body. Krishna explains that the soul is situated in the body like a traveler who experiences the different states of consciousness, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, without being affected by them. This verse emphasizes the soul's role as the eternal observer, distinct from the body and mind, and highlights its presence as the conscious entity that perceives and experiences life's various facets while remaining unchanged and unaffected by them. Verse 23. Krishna discusses the concept of the soul, Atmaya, within the body. Krishna explains that the soul, although residing in the body, is distinct from it, like the air pervading all spaces. He elaborates that the soul witnesses and supports the activities of the body, including the functions of the senses, without being tainted or affected by them. This verse underscores the soul's transcendental nature and its role as the silent observer and sustainer of the physical form, emphasizing its eternal and detached essence. Verse 24. Krishna describes the omnipresence and subtlety of the soul, Atmaya. Krishna explains that the soul is indivisible, unchanging, and omnipresent, pervading and sustaining the entire body. Despite residing in the body, the soul remains untouched by its physical attributes and transformations. This verse highlights the soul's subtle nature, its all-pervading presence, and its eternal essence that transcends physical boundaries. It emphasizes understanding the soul as distinct from the perishable body and recognizing its eternal nature as central to spiritual wisdom and realization. Verse 25. Krishna elaborates on the soul's Atmaya transcendental nature and its omnipresence. Krishna explains that the soul is beyond comprehension by the senses or the mind. It cannot be perceived through ordinary faculties, but is known through profound insight and spiritual realization. This verse underscores the soul's subtlety and its existence as the essence of consciousness within all beings. It emphasizes the importance of deep introspection and spiritual practice to understand and connect with the eternal soul, which transcends the limitations of the material world. Verse 26. Krishna discusses the means by which one can perceive the eternal soul, Atmaya. Krishna explains that those who possess spiritual wisdom perceive the soul in all beings and realize its unity amidst diversity. They recognize that all living entities are sustained by the same eternal essence, despite their outward differences. This verse underscores the importance of spiritual insight and understanding in recognizing the universal presence of the soul, emphasizing unity and interconnectedness as fundamental truths in spiritual realization. Verse 27. Krishna discusses the qualities of a person who perceives the unity of the soul, Atmaya, in all beings. Krishna describes such a person as seeing the imperishable, indestructible essence within every living entity, understanding that the diversity of forms is merely superficial. This verse emphasizes the importance of spiritual insight and understanding in transcending superficial differences and recognizing the underlying unity and eternal nature of the soul, thereby fostering a sense of compassion and empathy towards all beings. Verse 28. Krishna describes the characteristics of a true yogi who perceives the unity of consciousness. Krishna explains that such a yogi sees the same supreme divinity dwelling equally in all beings and himself in all beings. This verse emphasizes the realization of universal interconnectedness and the presence of divine consciousness within all manifestations of life. It underscores the importance of cultivating spiritual vision and understanding to perceive the underlying unity amidst diversity, thereby transcending ego and fostering harmony and compassion towards all beings. Verse 29. Krishna discusses the attainment of true knowledge, jnana, and spiritual liberation. Krishna explains that those who perceive the soul, Atma, as indivisible and omnipresent, existing equally within all beings, attain spiritual realization. Such individuals recognize the underlying unity amidst diversity and are liberated from the cycle of birth and death. This verse underscores the importance of spiritual wisdom and understanding in achieving liberation, emphasizing the soul's eternal nature and its transcendence over material existence as central to spiritual evolution. Verse 30. Krishna discusses the role of knowledge, jnana, and action, karma, in spiritual evolution. Krishna explains that true knowledge arises from the perception of the soul, Atma, as the supreme self within all beings. He emphasizes that such knowledge leads to humility, nonviolence, patience, integrity, and straightforwardness in conduct. This verse underscores the importance of integrating spiritual wisdom with righteous action, highlighting how true knowledge guides one towards ethical behavior and spiritual growth, fostering harmony and peace within oneself and society. Verse 31. Krishna emphasizes the importance of realizing the imperishable nature of the soul, Atma, and its distinction from the perishable body. Krishna explains that those who understand this truth transcend the influence of material nature and attain spiritual liberation. This verse underscores the significance of discerning the eternal essence within oneself and recognizing it as separate from the transient physical form, guiding towards freedom from worldly attachments and realization of one's true spiritual identity. Verse 32. Krishna explains that the soul is beyond the modes of material nature, goodness, sattva, passion, rajas, and ignorance, tamas, and remains untouched by them. He emphasizes that recognizing this eternal and transcendental nature of the soul leads to liberation from the cycle of birth and death. This verse underscores the soul's inherent purity and its capacity to transcend material influences, guiding towards spiritual realization and liberation. Verse 33. Krishna emphasizes the importance of understanding the soul's Atma role as the observer and experiencer within the body. Krishna explains that by realizing the soul's presence as distinct from the physical body and its activities, one attains spiritual wisdom and liberation. This verse underscores the soul's eternal nature and its role as the conscious entity that perceives and interacts with the world, guiding towards self-realization and transcendence of material attachments. Verse 34. This verse concludes with Krishna urging Arjuna to seek spiritual knowledge directly from those who have realized it. He advises Arjuna to approach such wise beings with humility, ask relevant questions, and serve them sincerely. Krishna emphasizes that by receiving spiritual knowledge in this way, one can attain inner peace, wisdom, and ultimately, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. This verse underscores the importance of seeking guidance from enlightened mentors to progress on the path of spiritual realization. Verse 35 concludes by stressing the importance of cultivating humility, truthfulness, and discipline in the pursuit of spiritual knowledge. Krishna advises Arjuna to abandon pride, arrogance, and the tendency to find faults in others. Instead, he encourages Arjuna to approach spiritual learning with an open mind and a desire for self-improvement. This verse emphasizes the virtues necessary for spiritual growth and underscores the importance of humility and sincerity in one's quest for higher knowledge and realization. The chapter concludes with Krishna asserting that understanding the distinction between the physical body and the eternal soul leads to liberation. By recognizing the eternal nature of the soul and its relationship with the material world, one can transcend ignorance and achieve spiritual enlightenment. This knowledge empowers individuals to navigate life's challenges with clarity and equanimity, fostering a deeper connection with their true selves and with the divine. In essence, Chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita serves as a profound philosophical guide, offering insights into the nature of existence, the path to self-realization, and the cultivation of spiritual wisdom. It underscores the importance of discerning the eternal soul amidst the transient aspects of the material world, paving the way for profound spiritual growth and ultimate liberation. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe my channel for more videos.